Have you ever noticed that the more you delay something, the heavier it becomes in your mind? A simple 5-minute task can suddenly feel like climbing a mountain, only because you kept postponing it. Procrastination isn't just about poor time management. It's about energy, clarity, and willpower. Most people think procrastination is laziness, but laziness is doing nothing with no care. Procrastination is different. You care deeply, but your brain resists starting. It's like you want the result, but your willpower isn't strong enough to push you past the starting line. Think of willpower as a muscle. It tires out when overused, but it also grows when trained consistently. One of the biggest mistakes people make is relying only on motivation. Motivation comes and goes like waves, but habits, routines, and energy are the anchors that hold you steady. Books like Atomic Habits remind us that small, repeated actions compound into powerful changes. Instead of waiting for a perfect mood to begin, lower the barrier. Tell yourself, I'll just start for 2 minutes. Often, beginning is the hardest step, and once you're moving, momentum carries you forward. Procrastination grows stronger in a certain environment. If your phone is constantly buzzing, if your desk is cluttered, or if your body is running on junk food and poor sleep, your brain has no chance of focusing. Every distraction is like a leak in your willpower tank. On the other hand, when you feed your body nutrient-dense foods, prioritize quality sleep, and move daily, your mental clarity improves dramatically. I often remind people, health isn't just about looking good. It's about building the energy to follow through on what matters. Delaying action doesn't relieve stress, it multiplies it. The brain keeps unfinished tasks in what psychologists call the open loop. That loop keeps draining energy, whispering at the back of your mind until you close it. Finishing, even small steps, frees up mental space. The truth is, improving willpower is less about force and more about design. Design your environment so that good choices are easy and bad choices are harder. Remove temptations from sight, use timers, and break tasks into micro steps. Build momentum with tiny wins, because momentum is more reliable than waiting for a burst of energy. In the end, procrastination is not your enemy. It's your signal. It's telling you your brain is overwhelmed, under-energized, or unprepared. Strengthening your body, simplifying your tasks, and creating systems instead of relying on motivation will change everything. Willpower doesn't magically appear. It is built, protected, and multiplied through how you live every day. The next time you feel like putting something off, ask yourself one question. Will future me thank me for this delay or regret it? That answer alone may be enough to push you into action. Why procrastination is more about energy than laziness. This is something most people never consider. When you wake up drained, sleep-deprived, or fueled by processed foods, your brain doesn't have the energy it needs to make decisions. Procrastination shows up not because you don't care, but because your body and mind are too depleted to act. It's like trying to drive a car with no fuel. You can press the accelerator, but nothing happens. Think about the times when you were rested, clear-headed, and full of energy. Even difficult tasks felt easier, didn't they? That's because the brain requires a huge amount of energy to focus and solve problems. When your blood sugar crashes or your body is running on stress hormones, procrastination is the natural result. You don't put things off because you're lazy. You put them off because your system is signaling exhaustion. This is why someone can binge watch hours of videos without effort but struggle to send one important email. It's not laziness, it's energy mismanagement. Your brain chooses the path of least resistance, and in a state of fatigue, that path is always avoidance. If you begin to see procrastination as an energy problem rather than a character flaw, it changes the way you approach it. Instead of shaming yourself for not trying hard enough, you start asking, what can I do to restore energy so I can act? Often the solution isn't forcing yourself harder. It's as simple as eating a nutrient-rich meal, stepping outside for sunlight, or taking a short nap. When energy rises, willpower rises. And when willpower rises, procrastination loses its grip. This shift in perspective is powerful because it gives you control. You don't have to wait for some magical burst of motivation. You just need to manage your energy so that your brain has the strength to begin. Willpower works much like a muscle. It can be strong, it can get tired, and it can also grow with training. Most people misunderstand willpower as something you either have or you don't. But the truth is, it's not fixed. When you constantly push yourself without rest, your willpower fatigues, just like your legs would after running too far. That's why by the end of the day, when your energy is low, it feels almost impossible to resist distractions or make good choices. Have you ever noticed that you can stick to a healthy routine in the morning but struggle at night? That's not weakness. It's simply willpower depletion. Every decision you make during the day uses up a little of your self-control. Deciding what to eat, what to wear, how to respond to a message, all of these tiny choices pull from the same mental tank. By the time evening arrives, the tank is running on empty. But here's the encouraging part. Just like muscles, willpower strengthens with consistent exercise. The more you practice discipline in small areas, the more capacity you build for bigger challenges. Choosing to delay instant gratification, whether it's skipping that sugary snack or putting your phone aside for 10 minutes, acts like a workout for your willpower. Small victories add up, and over time, they expand your ability to handle more without caving in. Another key is recovery. No muscle grows without rest, and willpower is no different. Sleep, proper nutrition, and moments of mental relaxation refill that tank. If you try to power through life without them, you'll burn out and mistake exhaustion for weakness. So instead of seeing willpower as a rare spark that you're lucky to have on certain days, start treating it like a resource you can train, protect, and grow. When you see it this way, procrastination becomes less of a mystery and more of a signal. It's simply your willpower asking for renewal or practice. Your environment is shaping your willpower more than you realize. Most people assume that self-control is all about inner strength, but in reality, the space around you is constantly either draining it or supporting it. Imagine trying to eat healthy while your kitchen counter is filled with cookies and soda. Every time you see them, you have to spend willpower just to say no. That repeated drain leaves you weaker for the choices that really matter. On the other hand, if your environment is designed to make the right choice easy and the wrong choice hard, willpower suddenly feels stronger. Think about how simple it becomes to drink water when a filled glass is already sitting on your desk, or how much easier it is to focus when your phone is in another room instead of buzzing next to you. These small shifts don't seem powerful, but they free up mental energy by removing unnecessary battles. Even clutter can act as a hidden thief. A messy desk, a noisy space, or constant notifications, all of these demand little bits of your attention. And attention is tightly connected to willpower. The more scattered your focus becomes, the harder it is to resist distractions or begin important work. That's why simplifying your surroundings isn't just about aesthetics, it's about protecting your ability to act. There's another layer to this, the people around you. If you spend time with those who constantly procrastinate, complain, or avoid responsibility, your own willpower will erode. But if you surround yourself with people who value discipline, health, and growth, their energy lifts you. Environment is not only physical, it's also social. So, willpower isn't simply about pushing harder. It's about recognizing that your surroundings are either setting you up to succeed or silently pulling you back. If you want stronger willpower, don't just change yourself. Change your environment to work with you instead of against you. Delaying a task feels like relief in the moment, but in reality, it creates a weight that only grows heavier with time. The brain has a way of holding on to unfinished business. Psychologists call it the open loop. When something is left undone, it lingers in the background, quietly draining your focus and energy. You may be watching a movie, scrolling on your phone, or trying to relax, but deep down, the thought of what you haven't finished is still running like a program in the background. That's why procrastination rarely feels peaceful. You don't delay and then truly rest. You delay and then carry guilt, stress, and a subtle tension that follows you everywhere. The unfinished task becomes a shadow, growing bigger the more you ignore it. In your mind, it changes shape from something small and manageable into something overwhelming and unbearable. But here's the paradox. The moment you finally start, the weight begins to shrink. Think about a time you avoided something for days, maybe weeks, and when you finally did it, it only took 10 minutes. How many hours of stress did that small task cost you simply because of delay? The pain of procrastination is always greater than the pain of doing the work itself. This is why action, even in the smallest form, is the cure. When you take a single step, writing one sentence, organizing one folder, making one phone call, you close part of that mental loop. That closure releases energy back to you, and suddenly, momentum starts to build. The brain craves completion. Every finished task, no matter how small, gives you a hit of satisfaction that pushes you toward the next. So when you're tempted to delay, remember this. You're not escaping discomfort by procrastinating. You're multiplying it. Starting now, even imperfectly, is always easier than carrying the invisible weight of later. Your physical health is directly tied to your mental strength, and yet many people try to fight procrastination while ignoring the very foundation of willpower, the body. The brain is not separate from the body, it's part of it. If your nutrition is poor, if you're running on processed sugar and caffeine crashes, if your sleep is broken and shallow, your brain simply doesn't have the fuel it needs to focus or follow through. In that state, procrastination is almost guaranteed. Think about how you feel after a heavy, unhealthy meal, sluggish, foggy, unmotivated. Now compare that with how you feel after eating nutrient-rich foods, vegetables, healthy fats, clean proteins. The difference in energy, clarity, and drive is enormous. Your brain thrives on stability, not spikes and crashes. Every time your blood sugar crashes, your focus crashes with it, and willpower disappears. The same goes for sleep. When you deprive yourself of quality rest, your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making and self-control, weakens. That's why after a poor night's sleep, even the smallest task feels overwhelming. You may think procrastination is a discipline problem, but it's often just an exhaustion problem. The body hasn't recovered, so the brain doesn't have the strength to act.